Hi, I'm Ferris helping pets and people to heal, and today I'm really excited because I'm about to move into my own place, which means I can have animal companions again. Hallelujah. It has been a long time coming. And I have one already chosen, but that's a story for another time. Today, I want to look at that process of choosing a new animal companion. I want to look at the two factors I think are really vital. I'm going to share a lovely little energetic exercise at the end to help you determine if an animal is a good fit for you. So first point here, readiness. Are you ready for a new animal companion in your life? If you're in a situation like me where you haven't had one because of circumstances and circumstances change and you have, it might be like me, an immediate like, oh yes, now. But say that an animal companion has passed away and you know at some stage you do want to get another animal companion because you have a lot of love in that big heart. I notice with some people that they feel, but I don't want to replace the pet that has passed because somehow that doesn't honor their memory. So I think in that case, it's really a process of reframing, of rather than saying you're going to replace an animal, to say, well, I now have this space in my heart, in my home, in my family, and there is room now for another animal companion. So who do I want to welcome in? And that stops it being an issue of replacement. And I've worked with a lot of people with this where they hold back because of almost a form of guilt that, you know, it means they're not remembering their other animal properly, or it will change the grieving process, and it will. And there are ways to work with that. Sometimes even in spirit, I introduce a new animal companion to the spirit of the old animal. And it's one thing as well is to look at the household and how will that animal fit in. Are the other family members also ready, whether they're human, whether they're other animals? What is their state of readiness? So that's one of the first issues. The second I want to look at is expectation. What is your expectation from a new animal companion? Is it to of course it's to fill that space in your heart, but what are the qualities that are really important for you? What is their role in your life? Like, say that you want to bring a new dog into your life. If you're very active and going hiking, you might want a young high energy dog, whereas if you're retired and home all the time, maybe you could get a more elderly dog for a shelter that would really suit your lifestyle and suit the other animals and people in your life if you have other beings. And one factor with that is introducing animals to each other. That is quite an art form. It can take a bit of work. If you're bringing cats into a household, dogs into a household where there are other animals, there is going to be a transition period. And part going back to readiness is, do you have the time to facilitate those introductions really well, and to give it like a couple of weeks or even months for everyone in the household to integrate? For example, if it's going to be a very busy time, like the holiday season is coming up, is that a time to do that? Or is that a time where the household is a little more settled? If you have big redesign projects going on, is that a good time to bring animals in? Probably not. If you're about to go on a big holiday, wait till afterwards. So those are really practical considerations. So I'm going to share a couple of short stories about expectations, because I have always tuned in to my animals beforehand. I remember before we got Sally dog, and you can see her in my old videos, beautiful Spaniel Collie cross. I was tuning into what are the qualities that I want in an animal, and I'd do a visualization, and in one of my visualizations I got a Labrador. I'd see a Labrador, and I'm not really a kind of ball throwing person, but I got this vision of the Labrador, and what was more important was the energy, that there was kind of a gentle, playful energy. Now, had I been very rigid and stuck to, oh, well, then it must be a Labrador, then I would have missed out on Sally. Now, Sally was a Spaniel Collie cross. Generally, they're really quite high energy, the Spaniels. And it's interesting that the Spaniels love everyone and the Collies are a one-person animal. Sally veered more towards the Springer. Anyway, the point is, had I been very rigid in the expectations of what I thought it was, I might have overlooked Sally. Now, as it turned out, the second we laid eyes on her, we knew she was fabulous, and she was actually my partner's dog. She adored him more than anybody else in the known universe. And she brought a quality that I hadn't even anticipated so much. She was just the most joyful being I've ever met in my entire life. So that was an added extra that I hadn't considered in that way. So it's just an example that, yes, tune in and get your ideas of what you want, the feelings, how you want to feel with them, and also have a little bit of flexibility within reason and practicality, that practically that animal can fit in your life. Now, I'm going to share one more story, because another time when I tuned in, and I have a video on this from quite a few years ago, I chose a cat called Caspian after my Alvi cat had died. And I did tune in with the other animals and I checked, could they get along? And this is to say that sometimes, even with that, it doesn't work out. You can have an idea how animals get along, but when it comes down to reality and all they're in the same space, sometimes it's trickier than even they anticipated. Now, unfortunately, this ended up as a worst case scenario, as he started bullying my cat, Baby the cat, really, really badly. And even with all the energy techniques and practical things, it just didn't work out. He wouldn't even let her near the house, and it didn't work out. So even when we have tuned in, we really know sometimes the dynamics are not what we think. I am really hoping that's never the case for you, but if it is, know that sometimes we have to accept that it isn't always what our vision was. Now, Caspian found another wonderful home. Baby was happy just with I think Leo was still there at the time, and it all worked out okay in the end, but it was a real learning curve for me and acceptance. So I hope that isn't the case for you. But if you are really struggling with integrating an animal, I've worked with so many people where energy techniques have helped them so well, to that the animals can be amicable with each other. They don't have to love each other, they don't have to be best buddies, but to find those ways where they can get on. I work with that a lot, and with my clients it works fine. In my case, there was one time it just didn't. So I'm gonna give you now a short exercise to help you tune in. If say that you're looking on the lists on the rescue site and you're like, oh that one, oh I wonder, you can energetically tune in with their permission, and it's a fun thing to do. So I'm going to show you in a really short exercise here. So you're going to take a couple of breaths to settle. And I will say this, if you are an overthinker, if you are a second guesser, you may have to do some work to quiet the mind first. Because if your mind is busy going, oh, but this and that and the other, and oh, I don't know, you're not going to have space to hear the heart. So I may leave a resource for that below. If that's something you really struggle with, I can help you with that, because I know that territory and I know how to deal with it. So just calm the mind. Imagine your mind all calm. Thoughts. Now go to the heart. Take a couple of breaths. In and out through the heart. And then tune into that space you have in your heart for a new animal. Tune into that feeling of excitement or happiness at the idea of having a new animal companion. Feel all the love that you will have to share with them. And now with your intention. Intention is powerful. Imagine that you're sending a beam of light from your heart to their heart, and with permission they can accept it, so always know it's their permission if they choose to accept it or not. And show them that love that you have in your heart. Show them that space that you have in your heart and your family for a new animal companion. And just do that for a few seconds. And just with gentle curiosity, notice if you feel anything. Do you feel any warmth or tingling, or do you get any ideas of their personality? And I find this is a lovely exercise to do if you're looking in a shelter, if you're there, or even beforehand, before you go. I did this in the shelter yesterday. That's a story for another time. So just check. And you can even add a little tapping and go, you know, we have space for a new animal in our lives, and you seem really lovely, and we'd love it if you would come and join our family. So you just can do really gentle tapping to introduce them to that possibility. And it's a great little exercise. I'll share one last thing that you can do as well. If you use kinesiology, you can do energy testing. I tend to do a sway test, so forward is yes for me, backwards is no. And you could do that, like, is this animal a good fit for me? Is it a yes forward, or backwards no? Caveat to that, do not do that for the biggest decisions in your life, and getting an animal companion is quite a big decision. So it's just, I use it as a little chaser at the end. Go, yeah, that feels like they're a good fit. So thank you very much for watching. I'd love to know from you, how did you know when an animal was the right one to bring in? What was it for you? Was it a look when you saw them? Was it just seeing their picture? What was it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see future videos and get to see my new friend when they come, please subscribe so you will be in the loop for that. Thanks so much. Bye for now.